And here we go. All right. Welcome, everyone. Oh, wait. Gotta go key back. Welcome, everyone, to another Wine Shark Wednesday. It is I, your host, the Wine Shark, joining you here yet again. Thank you very much for your patience. We took a little week off, and that was fun. We went down to Fredericksburg, Texas, and Stonewall and High to check out some Texas wineries and to get some new views on a very popular topic here at WineShark, or here in Texas for wine especially. So, I hope you guys are doing well. I'm here to talk to you a little bit about what's been going on, and we also pop open some frizzy pink wine because it's that sort of Wednesday. Why not? You know, everybody needs a little pink sparkling wine in the middle of their week. Let's make everybody's week a little bit better. So let's see. What's been going on? Oh man, so like I said, it's been 2 weeks, so we have to catch up a bit. First of all was the road trip. Went down, and I will discuss that at length a little bit later, but it was successful. Met up with some excellent friends. Got to visit some awesome wineries. Got to just get out of the house for a little while, which was very nice. Although out there in the world, things are still, pardon me, you might even see some coughing, because one of the things I came back with was some good reactions to good old Central Texas cedar and pollens. So I spent a lot of time coughing and having sinus headaches down there. But allergies aside, all things in the regular world were actually pretty nice. You know, the proper degrees of safety being observed where necessary, but still a lot of people out and about. So it was nice. Then this last weekend was the opening of the Scarborough Renaissance Festival. So hooray for us to get back on track there. Same sort of thing. A lot of people very active and excited to get out of the house, and I'm glad to be there with you guys. It's been a long time, and everybody's dusting the rust off from every perspective, I think. Plus, of course, we have a lot of new policies in place for the safety of everybody, and so everybody's kind of getting used to what the new normal is like. And anyway, we had two great shows, two great show days, beautiful weather, excellent crowds, and we did Wines of Spain. Really got people kind of all over the map, literally and figuratively. Literally all over the map of Spain, everywhere from the northwest to the central to the north to the west to the southeast, and all over the flavor spectrum from light and bubbly cavas to ultra sweet Pedro Jimenez Jerez, and it was great. So we had a great time. And then last, we've got private shows going on. So I've been visiting with customers to do private tastings, and that has kept me, quite busy. So here I am. It's Wednesday. We're back on the saddle for Wine Shark Wednesday, and we're here to talk. So let's talk Texas. Wow. I mean, it was 4 or 5 days down in Central Texas, down the Fredericksburg areas where we stayed. Oh, by the way, say hello to everybody. Say hello to Barbara and to Donna and to Rob, Rob was there with me down in Rob and Carrie were joining us down in Central Texas, and was good enough to help set up some of the events that we did and set up lodging. So big thanks to all that. But anyway, yeah, needless to say, very excited about all kinds of cool when it came to the visit down on the Texas road trip. My elevator speech, as I've kind of summed it up, is that I think Texas has come a long way when it comes to the fine wine world. That almost every selection winery I went to, pardon me, every selection winery, really playing at a level above some of the things that I had seen in the past. Wine styles that I would consider a little bit more serious entries into the wine world. Things in the lighter white, heavy white, rosé, light red, medium red, full-bodied red. Many more choices that were well crafted, better crafted than I had ever had before, and others that not everything was going around the typical accusation of, oh, it's all just sweet whatever, sweet plunk. And so I definitely think that the producers that I got an opportunity to try to do tastings with were really at the top of their game and really at a competitive point, which is great. I mean, that is something to be proud of. And something certainly that is exciting from a wine drinking perspective is that this is new place to explore. The wineries that I think they're also embracing their own Texas identity for now. They're not trying to do other things. They're not trying to be for California doing France. They're not. It's not all about big Cabernets and Chardonnays and Merlots. In fact, those three grapes, the most popular worldwide grapes, could arguably be some of the least represented within the area because those don't necessarily do well here, especially in the styles that most people are used to. However, embracing some of the more, and again, I hesitate to use the word edge styles because they aren't in the not in the wine world at least, but some different styles of wine, some different grapes that were really a lot of fun. Some Spanish grapes like Monastrell and which are sorry, well, actually the here in Texas we're calling Mourvedre, the version thereof of same grape, different region. Tempranillo, which we did a little review on right before I went down there. That also to some other lighter reds like Carignan, some big bold whites like Viognier, some some rosé versions of different versions thereof, some rosés of Carignan, some rosés of Mourvedre, and overall, just some really quality examples in every class that I tasted. So my expectations were guarded going in, but then very well fulfilled. So bravo for us doing cool things. We'll be doing much more. Very excited to say that I've got enough material and ideas to work up a tour to go personally show people around some of the places that I see and believe in. The downside, the con to the elevator speech is twofold, and that is when we, meaning Texas wineries, are not playing yet at the level of scale that some others seem to, and or either they're not getting economies of scale and or they are inflating their prices due to the touristy nature of the Texas wine country. Texas wine country is not actually where a lot of the Texas grapes are grown. Most of the wineries that are down there are representative of the area, but they do not necessarily grow their grapes nearby. 80 some odd percent of the grapes are grown in the high plains AVA. And to give you guys some geography on that, what that means is that the central Texas area in the hill country is more attractive to visit. It is more idyllic and there's more things to do as opposed to the Texas High Plains, which is relatively flat, a lot less attractive, isn't particularly scenic, but is doing the labor load of bringing their grapes to fruition. And that has a couple of negative effects. One, it gives you the sense that the wine country there is placed not in the same place. You are going to go see places that have vineyards, yes, but it is different than many other wine country destinations in the rest of the world, where you go to Napa or Sonoma or Bordeaux or Burgundy or Loire or Chianti or wherever, that's the grapes that is coming right here to be made into wine. Whereas these are 6+ hours away, and while it's a thing. One of the things I've been going to work on that's in my notes of things to do is research some of the impacts that it has when you don't have that level of intimacy with the grape. You might have a fantastic, vineyard manager who works there and takes great care of the fruit. But if you're putting it into a tanker truck and hauling it 6 hours away to your winery, what's the impact level there? Is that the best choice for it? In other words, what we've done is we've created a wine Disneyland that therefore inflates prices for the wines overall. So many of the wines that I tasted in the $30, $40, $50 range are in a very serious end of the wine spectrum when it comes to the wines that they're competing with. They're competing with A, major label brands, B, importers of reasonable to high quality. So at that point, while I think that they are competitive and they're very proud to show you all the medals that they win at various tastings because that's their claim to fame. That's how they're proving it. They're not necessarily giving you the opportunity to get those wines through wide distribution and easy accessibility. So that's the other negative that I saw is that, for instance, the Becker Tempranillo we reviewed last week, which is a $12 Tempranillo, a perfectly capable Hoven young style Tempranillo. Pardon me, again, isn't what they're selling at the local spot, right? They're making a claim at both at their tasting room. Although I did not go to their winery, I went to their tasting room within Fredericksburg. They're very proud of the wines that they only exclusively sell there. So they're not going to sell you a $12 bottle of Tempranillo. They'll gladly sell you a $40 bottle of Viognier. And it's like they're not putting their best foot forward to the what is released out there. In fact, they almost look at their wide release, or the attitude I got was, oh, our wide release is just what we give the other people. You've got the good stuff here. And I think that marketing idea is, well, frankly, fucking ludicrous. Because if you would give me your highest quality and make it widely available, you might get more of my business. Whereas if you don't put your best foot forward, it's the whole thing. And the idea of that, there's that touristy thing. So there's a little bit of the fury of our gift shop that I was not necessarily pleased with the region overall. It is a great place to go and hang out. Although my other only complaint is being more of a nightlife person. They kind of roll up the sidewalks after 6 p.m. And, well, on that note, it's kind of pouring after dark. But other than that, great experience, great people, very friendly, fun wines, great food. Got lots to share with you guys if we go down there and visit with you all. So look forward to, I'll put together the plan and probably look towards harvest time. I'm not really, we're not ready to run down there during spring. I've got other commitments throughout it. We're not foolish enough to run down there during summer. So why don't we hang out during maybe in the fall when the weather gets a little bit lighter up here, maybe say October, November timeframe. And we'll head down there and go check out some of what their new releases are and go explore stuff ourselves. So. But yes, there is what I really think. That's the entire thing. And Rob is right. For those of us who've been to Lubbock, Texas, it's not much to see. I was being very political earlier, but let me say, Rob is right. There's nobody in their life said, hey, let's go vacation near Lubbock or Amarillo or anywhere else up there. Except for people who go to college up there, who desperately try and escape there as soon as they can. So there's that. Go Red Raiders. Anyway, so the Texas trip was very successful. I was very pleased. I'm excited. There's lots to learn. I mean, I think that this is again one of those, wow, it's now become a place to watch, right? I think there's some opportunities. Well, and Rob makes an interesting point there. So one of the best places on Main Street is a place that imports all their wine from Italy. They make wine in Italy and bring it back, and then they have a shop there because they've got people who are in a wine mindset. And yeah, the interesting note that I made about that is that their wines are actually of a similar cost to their neighbors, yet they're also paying to do all the stuff, the work of importing. But they're classic Italian wines and wine styles, which says something about the overall inflation. It says very specific things. If you can be competitive in that same price point and at the same quality point and still charge the same thing and also cover the cost of believe me, importing from Lubbock is not nearly the same level of work. So anyway, like I said, Texas is going to do a lot of cool things. I am more energized now about being proud of the product that is local, because that was something that I had worried about in the past, that I could not genuinely, as a wine consumer professional, endorse, is that there weren't that many brands that were worth a damn. For those of you that also like beer, for instance, we have an absolute plethora of piñatas and good wine and good breweries in Texas. Especially in the area that I live in. You can't go 5 miles without tripping over a brewery of awesome quality. The same cannot be said about our local wines. I mean, we have an entire tiny town called Grapevine right between Dallas and Fort Worth. And living up to its name is really a tough thing, and because the wineries around there, they aren't doing it. But they're also, and you might wonder, well, why would we have a wine area in the middle of a giant metroplex like Dallas-Fort Worth? For the same reason that Fredericksburg is popular. Guess what? Well, the wine's actually from here, or very little of it is from here, 20%. That's the Fredericksburg. Down here, I bet it's even smaller. So anyway, there is the thing. We will go visit. The wines are good. The people are awesome. Oh, I could even tell you about some of the places that had local cheeses and stuff. We'll go. It's great. Good times. So, anyway, let's talk a little bit about what else is going on. I wanted to make that kind of short, no spoilers, right? There's all kinds of cool stuff that's going to come out. So that's just a brief kind of report back. But one of the things, I was cruising around when I was doing my grocery shopping this week and decided what I wanted to do for the grocery store grab rather than revisit Texas. Although this is interesting. The regular grocery store that I shop at is a good example of a medium end grocery store of their line. If you may know about grocery stores in general, you may have examples where you got their regular style store and then they're like signature black label. Here's our cool version of our store where they sell higher level products and more exclusive stuff. It's more gourmet. It's less functional. Actually, they tend to be both fully functional and gourmet. So where I shopped, there's two different stores that I go to depending on which direction I'm coming from, whether I'm leaving home and going somewhere else. And anyway, the shop that I shopped at to get the Tempranillo from Texas has an actual small Texas wine section, but their wine section is probably 30% larger and also slightly different economically different than the store that I go to on the regular basis. So I was looking for Texas wine there, wasn't available, didn't have the opportunity, which is again a statement on grocery stores and availability, economics of all that. But without all that, what I decided to do was more celebrate. So today, pink bubbly wine is the order of the day because, well, pink bubbly wine is awesome and everybody should have some. So, to dive into the grocery store grab, today's grocery store grab, for those of you that are not familiar, is the process by which we select a wine that I have never tried before, or generally speaking, a brand at random, to help get the best value per dollar for wines that are found at grocery stores rather than specialty or big box retailers. Specifically because A, some people don't have the opportunity to shop at one of those stores, and B, there's usually nobody around who can really give you any good wine advice at the grocery store. Some of these places have hundreds of bottles of wine, but nobody there to really give you any advice. So we rely on the label. Labeling is critically important, in my opinion, when it comes to wine, and being able to produce a wine that has a good label with good information is an important thing that we should judge wineries on. And B, we should be looking and rewarding those wines by buying and trying them. So today's delightful little grocery store selection, as I said, is a pink wine coming from La Marca. Pardon me. Man, it's been more than a week, and all I am doing is giving up the last of the cedar and mold of spring. It has been a hot minute since I've had allergies too. So here's the label of La Marca. La Marca is probably one of the most recognizable and popular Prosecco brands in the United States. And their history kind of shows it. The product is made in Italy, but imported by a California company, I believe in Healdsburg. And they are very popular, very recognizable, and frankly, dependable quality brand. Now, I don't know whether this is a statement on the inflation of our economy or the inflation of their brand, but they have gone from being a respectable $10 or $12 Prosecco to now being a $14, $15, $18 Prosecco. This rosé in particular was listed at $20, but it was $16 after the quote-unquote club discount from my local grocery store. Very simple, really elegant. Now, they've got a great marketing department. They play off of this baby blue and this pink thing. If you go look at any of their advertising, everything is in color sync. They're very much speaking to a young, active audience and really just selling you on the idea of you should be drinking this with brunch. And they're right. The thing I got to say is they're in their lane and they know what they're doing. I have zero complaints about that. But let's take a look at their actual label here. Now, this was a case where I bought this because I was on an impulse buy. But on the back of the label, so we talk about the things that we want to understand in the wine world here. We want to know where does the wine come from? What's in the bottle? What grapes are used, specifically if they're a blend, what percentage of them they are used. And then we want flavor words to understand what the wine tastes like. Our goal is to be able to identify a wine that we enjoy and then replicate or expand upon that experience with later wine purchases. So the front of this, as you see here in the image before you, is very simple. It's very, it's very basic. And it does say it's Prosecco Rosé, and it says DOC underneath it. You can barely see the label there. In fact, I wonder if I can zoom that in. Yeah, I probably can't. Let's try dynamic things using the software, which always goes well, as everybody knows. If I zoom right in here and stop flashing, there we go. Now you can see it says Prosecco Rosé DOC sparkling wine product O Italy. Okay, DOC is the Italian shorthand abbreviation for Denominazione di Origine Controllata. Means it's basically an officially recognized specific area. So again, can be attributed to a level of quality that is good. It is from that region. On the back, it says Millesimato 2019. That is the specific DOC that this is. And then here is their spiel. Crafted in the heart of Italy, La Marca Prosecco Rosé sparkles with lively effervescence. A bouquet of aromas includes white flowers, pear, and peach with notes of fresh strawberry and cherry. Caution, contents under pressure, do not shake. Chill, well, point bottle away from self and others, then twist cork out slowly by hand. Never use a corkscrew. I like the fact that this comes with safety instructions because, well, yeah, that's just important. But more importantly, do not shake. What they're talking about is you must be very still when you pour the wine. Or maybe they're talking about not shaking up the bottle. Who knows? Remember, you are not a Formula One racer. Anyway, so great flavor words. One of the things that the bonus here, I mean, they're telling us where it's from. They're very specific. They've got us some flavor words. What they don't have with Prosecco, and Prosecco generally doesn't have, is what the grapes are. The original grape, the classic iconic grape that it makes up Prosecco is called Glera. And it was actually codified as the grape called Prosecco up until a point when they were trying to separate the identity of the two things. What they don't tell us though is Glera is a white grape. So how doth yon wine become pink, one might ask? The answer is not on the label, which unfortunately is sad for me. And I went and looked at, while I was looking up grabbing the label, I also peeked the website to find out. The answer is Pinot Noir. Ding, ding, ding. Now, if we were playing fun rosé games, we could probably try and guess based on color. That's something that I've been trying to refine, especially in my rosé profile. Certain grapes go anywhere from the rose pinks all the way through the orange salmons to the orange color. So, pardon me. Lord, I'm telling you, either I'm not drinking enough or I need another Benadryl. Thing here is they didn't tell us why it's pink. It's just another process of product. And I would prefer that they did. That would be more information we would find useful. Add on to that each of the different styles of grapes that are made to make a wine a rosé wine. And this is probably a really esoteric note, so it shouldn't be on the label, but I want you, our client and customer, to know this. That's this. How does your wine become pink? That is something that I talk about a lot when I do rosé shows, that there are several misconceptions, many different methods, but this one is probably one of the only ones that that is the actual misconceived method. That is. So we can either make the most common method of making rosé is you take a red grape, you squeeze it, keep it in contact with its skin for a very limited amount of time, usually measured in hours, somewhere between 2 to 4 to maybe as long as 24 hours. And then you take the skins away. So it gets a slight pink hue from this brief contact with its skins. That's most rosé wine produced. The next method is called saignée, or the bleed-off method. It's where you're intending on making a red wine. You kind of do the same thing, though. You macerate all the red grapes together, you squish it all up into the juice, but you bleed off a certain portion, usually between 24 to 48 hours. You dump out, you steal that away. You've reduced the juice in the red wine. It then colors up and goes on to become red wine. The rest of this, now blush wine, this rosé goes to a separate process. You continue fermentation and you make wine that way. Popular in the Provence area of France, Saignée method makes fun wines too. But this is that rarest of methods where you actually blend red wine and white wine together. At least that's how they do it in the world of champagne. They take still wine, and so you got You've got this white wine, it's all ready to go. You basically pour some red wine in there to color to taste, depending on the grape you want, and wham bam thank you ma'am, it's now pink. Then you go ahead and choose whatever bubbly method. Remember the Prosecco, based on its grape, is almost always made via the Charmat method of production. What that means is they take the tanks and they inject carbon dioxide into it, very similar to sometimes beer, where you're basically adding and increasing pressure. You're not using natural methods of yeast to increase the carbon dioxide. You're just forcing it in there. What that means is that you get a gentler flavor because it doesn't spend time with the yeast, but you generally tend to get less effective bubbliness in the long run. You're going to get a strong bubbly when you pour it in the bottle, but you're not going to get an extended bubbly. So, however you like your bubbly is a very important note there. All right, so I would still give this a solid, solid B on their labeling because they didn't give us any food notes. They did certainly give us good flavor notes. So we know what to expect, right? We're looking for, what is it again? White flowers, pear and peach with notes of fresh strawberry and cherry. Cool. We all of those words are easy to understand. We should be good to go. So let's find out whether they're right. Do a little something here. Color-wise, like I said, it is a solid, even rose-colored pink. Again, part of me wonders whether the fact is that there's somebody in the design department isn't giving advice on how pink the wine should be because it is so perfectly matched with their powder blue label. But I'm only a suspect. On the nose, I definitely get that white flower and maybe some pear. It doesn't jump out of the glass. When I say that, though, the lower level of aromatics of Prosecco are kind of known. They tend to not have very, very strong flavors. You stick your nose in the glass, you breathe in, and you don't usually get overwhelmed with a lot of big wine, information. Usually they're kind of hidden in the bubbles and hard to find. This basically is right up that same line. But let's go ahead and see what it does on the palate. See if we can find the rest of these flavor words, this peach, this strawberry, etc. I'm certainly thinking that it's going to have, actually, based on my tastes already, pretty much hitting that. Oh yeah, the white flowers then kind of pop in the bubbles in that first front aroma. But on your tongue, you definitely get bright, almost unripe strawberry. It's not wildly sweet. Um, and anybody who says that this wine is sweet is wrong. They're dead ass. There is the sugar in this. There's nothing. But there are flavors that remind us of sweetness. There's a juiciness to the wine. It makes our mouth water. It gives us that tiny little hint of refreshing strawberry. Pear is, I like the way they use the word pear because pears to me are even when fully ripe, are a less sweet fruit, where that have a fruit flavor, but they're not sweet. Like a fully ripened red apple or green apple has a juicy sweetness to it as well, where you've got acid and sugar. This has got no sugar, light, good, solid acid, and makes your mouth feel wonderful with all that bubbly texture. As I remind people all the time, that textural components of bubbly wines like Proseccos and Cavas, Cremants and Champagne, and what's my Riesling version of that? Drawing a blank right now. Sekt, there it is. Sekt, these are a textural experience, and that's part of the thing that we enjoy, but it also can be leveraged when we talk about food choices. You find other things where that texture is benefiting you. Because one, you can use the bubbles to scrub your palate clean. One of the reasons I think that Prosecco is such an excellent brunch partner, Rosé, Prosecco especially. If you're going to have other fruit flavors beside this runs alongside them beautifully. But if you have anything in your brunch platter that has a little bit of stickiness to it, creaminess to it, whether it's a hollandaise sauce on a eggs benedict, or whether it's something in the cheesy realm from an omelet or a quiche, or whether you've got some sort of cheeses, this helps scrub that palate clean, and the acidity of it and the bubbles do double duty about making your palate all kinds of clean, and it's delightfully light. So your palate isn't working extra on the wine. The wine is a nice little side rider. It's basically your accompaniment, and it's in harmony with all of that stuff. So it doesn't demand a lot of your palate's attention. You can really focus on your food. And with that said, every bite tastes new and clean and fresh. I mean, I don't know if you know that perfect bite, that first bite of your food, where our palate fully explodes and gets all the expression of it, is something we seek out over and over again. So this is a great tool to do that. Definitely, we ask ourselves three questions when it comes to the grocery store grab. Is it well crafted? Is it, is it well crafted? Is it on style? Is it worth the price tag? Answers to is well crafted. Absolutely, equally on par with every other Prosecco that I've had. Interestingly enough, Prosecco is one of those weird things where there's stuff that's kind of crappy and there's stuff that's kind of good, but there's not really a really hugely high ceiling. The difference level is pretty narrow, and this certainly is playing at the top of its game. It's on style, dead 100%, especially because they're expanding into the rosé world. Rosé Prosecco is actually fairly new in the wine world. That's not a standard thing. But of course, they're competing with rosé champagnes and other styles to grab your attention and your market share. Is it worth the price tag? Yes, causally, yes. This is that part where I'm not sure, as I said, I'm not sure whether it's our overall economy that's causing these to be $16 rather than 12 the way they used to be, which is my gut says that's just standard inflation. Could be part of the issue of getting things in from import. But generally speaking, is it worth the money? Yes, because at this level you're getting a quality product and you know this brand, you know that they're not going to fail you. And if you go to this section of a major liquor store, you're probably going to see 15 or 20 different Prosecco's demanding your attention. When you see that bright blue label, you know that that's a safe bet. You will see cheaper examples, but you are risking getting a lesser quality wine, whereas La Marca certainly has kept their quality point very consistent for, well, most of my wine career. They've been kind of my go-to. The La Marca and Prosecco Il, although Prosecco Il is a little harder to find, La Marca you can find very broadly. They're actually very well distributed. They're from a large producer, so you're going to be able to get them almost anywhere. So everybody should be able to enjoy this, and I recommend you go out and do so sometime tomorrow. So anyhow, all right. Any other questions? We've had no comments since we stopped talking about how bad Lubbock was, which, hey, that's always a good thing, especially for the people in Lubbock. While you think of your questions, I'll give you an update on what we've got coming soon, meaning tomorrow, and Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday. So the next 4 days. We've got online with me, WineShark on Zoom meetings. We're going to do our virtual tastings. We're continuing to do those. Due to scheduling, they're on Thursdays this month. So we have white dessert wines on Thursday, tomorrow. We're going to go talk about Riesling ice wine, and we're going to talk about Sauterne. Bring yourself some dried apricot, some blue cheese, some fresh fruits like apples, pears, and whatnot. And yeah, it's going to be good stuff. Yes, it's for those of you that like the sweet tooth, but then again, I honestly think that the wines are a hell of a lot more elegant than most people give them credit for. A lot more complicated as well. So we're going to talk about how they're made and all that kind of stuff. Join us, grab a bottle. And by the way, the bottles are small. You don't have to commit to much. They usually sell them in 375 millimeter or half, basically quarter bottle formats, or half bottle format. Anyway, we got that. Then Friday, we're doing Old World Wines down at Reunion Tower here in Dallas, Texas. So those of you that are local, come join me. We're going to go out and we're going to do a very briefest of stop. It's almost embarrassing. I mean, when it comes to doing wines of the old world, picking one style from each country does not do the country service. But what I intend to do is do more than one old world show and focus on a different one each time. So, for instance, if you had to pick one region from France, which of the 5 or 6 big regions would it be? And that's going to be the question we answer there. But we're going to go through that. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have some food. We're going to have some wine. 500 feet in the air. Good times. Then we're going to do Italian wines this weekend at the Scarborough Renaissance Festival. So we're going to do a deep dive. This is a much more appropriate. We're going to get to Italy and we're going to stretch our legs into Italian styles of wine. We're going to go all around the country with different weights, speeds, the whole deal, different flavor profiles about some of the favorite and classic Italian wine styles. So if you have an opportunity, we'll be doing that for shows on Saturday and Sundays at 1 and 3. Even if the tickets are sold out online, if the weather is good, guys, you need to come down because I do have tickets for sale on site. So don't ever look at me and go, well, we're sold out. Yeah, I know. We only sell half the tickets anyway. We sell half the tickets online because we hate to disappoint anybody who didn't know about the show when they show up at the festival. So we hope to see you there. All right, let's see. Gary got so Rob says got a lemon prosecco at Fredericksburg. Yeah, lemon scotto. Not lemon prosecco though, Rob. It was actually a lemon moscato, hence the name lemon scotto. Anyway, that was pretty damn good. It was a sparkling moscato that was delightful. It was very much aimed at the why would I drink this anytime except outside on a patio. That wine had all of that going on. It was quite good, the lemon scotto. There you go. See, but you only just didn't read your own words there, right? It says lemon scotto sparkling, and you have to put the words together to go, oh, I get it, what you're doing now. But remember, you can make sparkling moscato as well. They do it in the exact same way. They inject carbon dioxide, and boom, you are now a sparkling wine. In the Italian, they would call that a spumante. Which is no, frizzante, sorry. Frizzante, which is a half sparkling. So, anyway. Well, guys, there's going to be a lot going on, as you can tell. Next week, I have no idea what the Wednesday topic will be yet, but we'll get there. And we're going to be doing other stuff throughout the end of the month. We've got Will It Blend, the Burgundy episode. So, no, sorry, the Bordeaux episode. So we're going to deep dive into big Bordeaux's and the mix of those wines a couple of Thursdays from now. That's what, the 29th. Then we've got more stuff upcoming. May 7th, we're going to do Wines of the New World rather than the Old World. We'll do Wines of the New World down at the Tower. So tickets for that are on sale and should be on Facebook as well. So if you'd like to join me, if you can't make it on Friday because it's sold out, you can go then too. And then we've got the Will It Blend episode later in the month at the Renaissance Festival. So we're going to actually do a broad spectrum. We're going to go around the world with blend wines on that weekend in the rest of April. So that kind of sums up what we've got going on with April. We've got Italy, blends, and New World wines in early May. It's going to be a lot of fun. And frankly, totally on. Rob is a wine thought. All right, hang on. I'm waiting for Rob's wine thought because I realize that I'm actually like 10 seconds in the future from you guys. Or rather, by the time you receive my signal, it feels like I'm talking to you from Mars. I gotta say, the live streaming, when it's got a delay, is a little bit weird. Although I'm thinking about getting myself a complimentary bleep button and just bleeping myself for no reason. The bleep button is a privilege, Jerry. All right. Rob, everybody's waiting. We've got time, though. I mean, we're not going anywhere. I'll sit here and wax poetic about it. Oh, no, I meant a mistake because of wine. Yes, a wine thought. Yes. Totally have a wine level of thinking. All right, fine. I thought you had something inspiring for us. I thought it was going to be exciting. We were going to get to take off on a topic. But instead, it's, no, man, I just couldn't think of that name. And that's cool. It's totally cool. Believe me, I've been there myself. But yeah, so guys, I'm very excited. The spring is going to hold a lot of fun stuff. I'm really hoping that you guys get your vaccines on and get out to the public and come see us soon. We're going to have a fantastic spring leading into a summer where we all are pretty much just going absolutely, bat insane. And then there's fall, because I think in the fall we're going to be back to the point where we can start doing some wine tours again. And I'm really excited to kind of take people out to some of the places and try some new stuff. To what we call, leave room in your schedule to go grab amazing wines based on people's local examples. So, for instance, we were at William Chris Winery, a winery I wanted to go to and was very impressed with. We will be going back to without a doubt. But we were overheard speaking because I do tend to project, and somebody, when upon hearing some of my intentions, was like, "Oh, hey, you really got to go check out this other place." And I often look for, especially people in the industry within the either the wine businesses that I am engaging with, etc. But this lady named Rachel and her husband came up and said, "Hey, we heard you talking. You guys, we know you're touring around. You really got to go check out this place called the Vego Vino." And so there's this Portuguese-inspired place just down the road, and we drove over there and had some other excellent wines. And again, it wasn't something on our plan, but that's always the thing we keep in mind, not only with touring, personally, but professionally, in that we're going to look for those great opportunities to have good connections with amazing people and really just go out there and see what's what. Because different than just going and hiring a local tour bus, which anybody can do. There, by the way, there's some greatly credible tours out there. I got thrown several business cards of everybody dying to do the thing, but that's not the point. I want some of your knowledge, but I know that your job is to drive me around to X places. The good news is when you break out of that pattern and really get an opportunity to speak to people that are involved and really engage with their wine. They're not just there to give you a sales pitch. That's one of the things I generally try to avoid, and that is when on the tour you're going to be preserved for most of that, but you have the opportunity to participate anyway. So anyway, guys, thank you very much. Have a happy Wednesday. I want you guys, if you have an opportunity, give us a comment down in the comments after the show, so we can answer that. Talk to me about your bubbly of choice. Do you have a pink bubbly that's your favorite? Uh, I know I do, and this actually isn't it. Although this is going to the stable list of good booze, we're going to put that on the list for sure. But anyway. Anyway, let me know what it is that you guys like out there. Put it in the comments, and I will gladly respond down there. It helps me out with the channel. If you like what we're doing, like, subscribe, and share with a wine-loving friend. We are growing just like we hope we were. We hope to spread the word to many more of you, so please share if you've got other people that love wine. And if you really like what we're doing, come and check us out over on Patreon. Patreon, you're going to get exclusive content like recorded versions of all the private tastings in an entire library complete with wine notes, a monthly list of wine collected notes from the entire month. So other cool things to drink, even if you missed a show, fun recipes, discounts, early access, all kinds of cool stuff. If you can support us over there, because it very much helps me do this job and keep us flowing in the right direction. We're looking at almost our first anniversary coming up here really soon of starting off this project, and you guys have been truly inspiring and helping me do this. So I'm excited that we're all doing the right things and growing in the right directions. But until next time, I have been your wine shark. Cheers. I think I'm gonna have to have brunch for dinner now. I'm gonna have to go make like a quiche for dinner. And the good news is I think I'm equipped to do so. Bacon and cheese.